Alright guys, just a friendly reminder, tomorrow you have 21 through 30 vocab quiz. Tomorrow I'm collecting your map and your primary. So if you're like Macy who hasn't finished her map yet.
I finished it.
Oh, I'm so proud. Make sure you finish because that is due tomorrow, your map and your primary. Everyone needs to have their whiteboard and their notebook out. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the first gentleman to unify northern India post-Gupta? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Who is it, Arima?
King Harsha.
King Harsha. On your whiteboard, please tell me. King Harsha is known because he believes in what major theory? He'll be the last one to believe in it until the 1970s. Good. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, come on, come on. Kate. Religious tolerance. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is north or, the answer is either north or south. Where is chaos going to be occurring politically? North or south? Where, Aiden?
North.
North. Where, north or south, is going to be the most trade occurring? North or south? Good. Jackson. South. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the first kingdom to unify southern India? Good. Shivani. Chola. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the gentleman who brings Islam to India? Forces Islam into India. You need both parts, guys. Good. You need his whole name. Zadie. Mahad of Ganzi. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the first government based on Islam in India? Good. What is it? Katie. Sultanate of Delhi. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the only kingdom that will trade with the kingdom, with the Sultanate of Delhi? No. Did we get there yesterday? Who can raise your hand and tell me where we left off? Shabani.
We were talking about maritime trade.
Perfect. Okay, you do need to know, I do want you to know that the Kingdom of V, do you not have that down? Kingdom of V?
No.
Okay, you do need to know the Kingdom of V is the only one who will trade with the Sultanate of Delhi. They're a Hindu kingdom. Oh, that's really where we should have left off then, didn't we? Yeah. So the Kingdom of V is going to be the only one who are going to trade with the Sultanate of Delhi. However, they're eventually going to avoid them as well. So their trade relations are going to decline as well. So, Kingdom of V is the only one who's going to trade with the Sultanate of Delhi. Who can raise your hand and tell me, why does everyone hate the Sultanate of Delhi? There's 2 reasons. Avery.
Because the Islam's force.
Yes, Islam's force, so they already have us prejudice against it for sure. Alex?
Trade is really hard to do there.
No, it's not. They
burned down all the Hindu temples.
Nope. Nope. Well, that would be more towards that feeling of hatred. But the Sultanate of Delhi is not led by Mahad of Ganzi. Is everyone clear on that? Mahad of Ganzi did his thing, and then there was a break, and then they're like, oh, cool, why don't we just set up a government there? It's not the same guy. It's not started by Mahad of Ganzi. Why? Claire? No, that's different. Jesse?
Because their political structure is really clear.
Yeah, they're just a hot mess. There's like people being murdered all the time. It's a really dangerous place. Is that somewhere you'd want to go trade? No, hell no. Alright, here we go. So, monsoon winds. Okay, I would write Indian Ocean Basin for your heading. That's fine if you write monsoon winds and just start, that's really fine. So you do need to write down that the spring, summer, rains come from the southwest, fall, winter come from the northeast. Write down the first 2 lines up there, please. The monsoon winds are a very big deal until we get to period 5. What is going to be invented in period 5 that we no longer care about monsoon winds, Payne?
Motors.
Motors. We got the steam engine. That's going to be invented in 5. So up until then, guess what we're going to be talking about every damn period?
Monsoon.
Yep. Are you pumped? Are you excited?
Yes.
Gross. So, in a couple, probably in about a month and a half, 2 months, while I'm sailing on my brand new yacht, because I'm winning the lottery tonight, I'll be thinking of you while I'll be forced into those monsoon winds. So I'm pretty excited about it. Maybe I'll post some stuff on Twitter for you, so you can see me living my lavish life. What do you got, Claire? What?
A motor.
And period 5. I'm just connecting it. You're going to hear about this every period.
Oh,
Babe,
If you win the lottery, can you continue posting videos and like wait?
God, no. No, I'm going to live life.
Can't we just look at the ones from
Who
last
would
year?
we get?
Oh, I don't know. I may make a donation to get like a better sub for you. How's that?
I feel like it wouldn't be
Thank
as
you.
good though.
Or would you rather me pay for tutors?
Tutors.
Tutors.
Alright, let's buy you a
Individual
tutor.
tutors?
Yes,
and
She's getting $600 million.
No, I'm getting $904 million tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh.
See, I think she can give us
Check
a
it.
tutor.
Alright, here we go. So, you do need to know that during this time period, India is going to do massive construction of reservoirs, canals, and tunnels. This is a big deal because this is the only time India is going to really rebuild its infrastructure. Because in period 5, when the British take over India, they're going to be like, oh my god, these people are a mess because their infrastructure is a mess. So because of that, India is going to have heavy investment by the British to build bridges, canals, dams, and all these other things. That is going to transition to the phrase we use. It's called the sugar knife of colonialism. It's called the sugar knife because I think we can all agree in this room colonialism is really wrong. When another culture comes in, abuses, takes advantage, steals resources, destroys culture, that's really wrong. Can we agree? However, colonialism does bring a couple good things. And that is better infrastructure, railroads, bridges, and all these other things. That is going to be a huge point, so we're going to come back to this later. That's why I'm telling you. Just sleep there, I'll get it. Okay. Population growth is going to grow. We make sense. We have better art infrastructure. Okay. Temples are going to become the center of education and banking. So they're much more than our churches here in 2018. Can we agree? Okay. When we think about religious structures today, we only think of them as religious structures. We don't really think of them as education sites. But temples in India are going to be blending education and banking services. They're also about building irrigation and all that stuff. So just be aware of that. Now, if you take a look, you're going to write, we're still in the Indian Ocean Basin. You're going to draw what I have here, including my pictures in your notes. Okay? You need what I have on my board right here on your notes, in your notes. So, in the Indian Ocean Basin during period 3, we have 2 new ships that are going to transform trade. Why are boats going to increase trade when in comparison to caravans? What's the difference between a caravan, which is like a wagon being pulled by horses, versus a boat? Garrett.
The boat is faster.
Boat is faster for sure.
And you don't have to worry about any of the time.
Okay, that's kind of weird. Yeah, that's kind of
What does
weird.
that say? 1 OB?
Oh, it's Indian Ocean Basin.
Oh.
The animals pull it.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the animals dying.
How often do you think horses die doing their
Well,
job?
you have to worry about like feeding them and stuff too.
Yeah, but you're going in Silk Road. You're dealing with like real roads. Like you're dealing with like it's not like the Saharan Desert. Guys, so it's gonna be faster. And what else, Macy?
It stores more.
It stores more. Yeah, you can carry more crap. Do you think a boat can carry more than a wagon? For sure. So we're gonna have larger purchasing items. Okay, larger budgets. So the first one is Arabic dhows. Now dhows are gonna sail in the Red Sea, the Arabian Sea, and Indian Ocean Basin. You have to be able to identify them. This is a midterm question, ladies and gentlemen. There's 2 questions on this. One of them is to identify an Arabic dhow, and the other one is identify a Chinese juke. So, do you need to draw the pictures?
Yeah.
Should they be clear?
Yep.
Yes. So, when you draw your Arabic dowel, it needs to have triangular sails with a flat back. When you do a Chinese juke, they sail in the Yellow Sea, the Pacific Ocean, the South China Sea, and the Indian Ocean basin. Identifying factor is that they have bamboo across their sails to tighten the sails to make them go faster. That's what those bars are across the sails. So, yes, you do need to draw the pictures because that is your midterm, friends.
You made our picture?
I've made parts of it, yes. Are you ready? Ugh. People are really struggling on drawing here.
It's hard.
Why? Noemi's drawing the tiniest pictures I've ever seen. Why didn't she draw them bigger? Are you going to be able to see it? Like I said, it's a midterm question. Oh, someone was asking me about for the rest of this semester. So week 17, I stop content and we do a review packet for your midterm. You have no homework, you have no vocab quizzes, nothing. You just show up and we write in your packet, and then I sit there and write it and you copy it down. How does that sound?
Nice.
Awesome.
Good. So, because I know midterms are super important to you, they don't really care about me, but so I respect your time and I respect the things that you care about, so that's why we do that. Over winter break, you have no homework. You don't even get a Focus and Spice to go home with. You get nothing. Because when you come back, it's writing week.
No.
You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it.
I don't care about it.
And we start at DBQ.
No.
Yeah. So, on Thanksgiving break, there's no extra assignments. You just have your Focus and Spice you're going to do on the Sunday before you come back. That's it. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
What do you got?
When we write for the larger shifts, do we only go to thousands?
You can go.
I was just wondering because I only said thousands.
No.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Okay, while people are finishing, this is what happened last period, and I just can't today. Okay, while you're finishing up, this is your Roman numerals, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know your Roman numerals, I would copy this down. This is like a life lesson for you. I would maybe write it in the back of your cover of your book or somewhere that is easily accessible. So, if you have a cover to your notebook, I would write it on the inside of your cover. Wherever you're putting your Chinese dynasties, I would put this. Does that make sense? This is like a life skill. What?
You only need to know 1 through 16.
Yes, because we don't go to like 50. Someone's like, well, what's 50? What's 100? I don't know. Because we don't have people that high.
We got them.
We have people that see.
I don't care. Alright, so look at this. I don't feel like erasing it, so just look, especially if you don't understand Roman numerals. Okay, so 1 through 3 should be pretty like, yeah, that makes sense. Right? It's when you get to 5 that things get tricky. Actually, I'm going to erase it. Don't look. Don't look.
No.
Yes. I'm going to rewrite it, you weirdo. There we go. Some people get freaked out by them. So 1 through 3 makes perfect sense. When we do Roman numerals, they're supposed to make your life easier and you don't have to look at tons and tons of numbers. If you've ever seen the Super Bowl, when they do it in Roman numerals, which is the dumbest thing, it is like too much numbers. Can we agree? That's not what they're designed for. However, Roman numerals are supposed to simplify things. Now, they're not supposed to have more than 3 things on either side because they want it to be easier for you to view. So when you do a 5, it looks like this. Now, if anything is on the left, you subtract, or whatever it is. On the right, you add to it. Okay? So, to make a 4, you do V1, that makes a 4. So, on your whiteboard, show me how you make a 6. There we go, perfect. Feeling it, okay? So, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. Now, 9 is a little bit trickier because we're not going to do more than 3 up, correct? We keep it simple. So 10 is an X. So on your whiteboard, show me what a 9 looks like. There we go. Okay, we're correct. Perfect. 9 is an X, but anything to the left you subtract. So 10 minus 1 equals 9. Then we have 10. Okay, so 10 plus 1 is 11. 10 plus 2 is 12. 10 plus 3 is 13. Okay, this is where things get a little bit tricky, so please listen. Because we only need to go up to 16, because Louis 16 is really the highest number we deal with. Is you go X, because you're starting in the teens, correct? Then you go IV. That means 14. Then you go XV. I, that's 15. Nope, just kidding, that was a lie. That's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Got it. Saved it. And then I have Louis the 16 is XVI. There we go. Sounds good? It's like a life lesson. Because people will judge the hell out of you if you can't read basic Roman numerals. It will happen. Especially at trivia and stuff like that. If you don't know them, people will laugh at you. Lying. There's certain things you need to know, and that's one of them. Huh? Oh, sorry, my love. Alright, here we go. So, you do need to know that an emporia is a warehouse in trading courts. An emporia is a warehouse. Why am I teaching you about warehouses? No. Warehouses, we take them for granted because we have warehouses all the time. We see them all the time. We deal with it. Warehouses allow for large-scale purchases. Okay? Warehouses allow for large-scale purchasing, which increases the money for Asia. So, if people are going to Asia and it can only fit it onto a caravan, are they going to buy a ton of products or not very much? Not very much. So, do they need to have massive warehouses? No. However, with the creation of these ships that can carry tons and tons of stuff, they need to have warehouses. If you buy a lot in bulk, the price goes up, correct? And who is going to make more money off of this? The Asians are going to make a lot more money off of it, which is why we start seeing no more taxes for certain people and all that stuff.
Wait, it increases what?
It increases the amount of money for Asia. So it increases the amount, the larger purchasing orders as well as more money to be made. Yes.
How come Asia became a place where like everything is manufactured?
Because European and American companies went there for cheap labor. Alright, so caste system, just listen, you shouldn't have to write anything down. Caste system is going to just continue. It gets more complicated because we have more money in the region, correct? Okay, Buddhism is going to decline, make a note of that. Buddhism declines, Islam rises. You do need to know that. Buddhism is going to decline, Islam rises.
Is this still under English?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. You can leave there. Islam is going to become more popular. Why is Islam? Why are people going to reject Hinduism and pick up Islam? We've talked about it 10,000 times, but let's just make the connection. Jackson?
Because you don't follow the caste system.
You don't have to follow the caste system. People are still getting frustrated by it. Claire?
But wait,
You do need to write down Bakai movement.
Who doesn't follow the caste system either? So why would
Because Islam is just going to become more popular than Buddhism. Because Buddhism is a little bit tricky, and it's not a collective thing, it's an individual thing. So people like being involved with other people, Claire. Like, you don't like doing too many things alone. Like, I like alone time, but, like, I don't want to be completely isolated. Buddhism is very isolating, while Islam is very unifying, and people like being part of things. Alright, you do need to know that the Bakai movement is an attempt to bring Hinduism and Islam together. It's started by this guy, and he believes that Shiva, Vishnu, and Allah are all one deity. That's all you need to know about him. Now, this is not going to be that popular. However, it lays the foundation for Sikhism, which is the third largest religion in the world. We know Sikhism?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a dude wearing a turban? Sikhs. Isn't it cool? It's the only religion that it's I guess no okay, there isn't. But it's really the only religion that all men have to wear it in order to abide by it. So it's pretty cool. Women don't have to cover their hair, the men do. You don't think that's cool? I think so. Yeah.
What else do we have to know?
You need to know that it's taught that Shiva and Vishnu and Allah are all the same. Sikhism is going to be created during a period 4, which is a blending of Islam and Hinduism. What do we call when we blend two things together? Syncretism. Alright, are we ready? Alright, perfect. Cool. I don't care. Perfect. Done. Nice. Alright, let's go to Europe.
Vishnu, Shiva,
And
and
Allah.
are all the same.
They're all the same God. It's a foundation Sikhism. You don't know until 4, so don't worry. Sikism, Sikhism. Alright, here we go. Europe. Now, we just listened. The theme system is going to fall. Who can raise your hand and tell me what is the theme system? Oh God, people, your midterm includes everything I taught you over the last 11 weeks. What is it? Katie?
When like generals, when they conquer land, they would give the land to their soldiers.
Perfect. So it's going to start crumbling. Is that going to make the poor people happy or pissed? Pissed. When it happens, when the poor people get mad.
Revolt.
Yes! The poor people are going to start burning things down, and that's why the Byzantines are going to start weakening. Okay, the West is going to start picking up some strength here. You do need to know that Western Europe is starting economic development in this time. So write down, Western Europe is starting to develop economically. Okay? I don't want to talk about that. So, your first empire in the West, post Charlemagne and his Carolingian Empire, is going to be the Holy Roman Empire. Okay? It is started by Otto I of Saxony. You do need to know his name, Otto I. So the Holy Roman Empire is the first empire post-Charlemagne in Western Europe. It's started by Otto I. Now, Otto I, is he Catholic or is he Eastern Orthodox? Catholic. He's Catholic because he's in Western Europe, ladies and gentlemen. He is going to aid the Pope a couple times. He's going to support the Pope. He's also going to hold the Pope hostage and threaten him, but that's a whole other thing.
Cool.
Yeah. And eventually the Pope pays his ransom and gives him the title of Holy Roman Emperor. So, the Holy Roman Empire is not going to be that significant at all. No one really cares about it, but it does exist. But you do need to know that Otto becomes Holy Roman Emperor. That's his title. Okay? Now, the next thing you need to write down, still in Europe, it's not the Holy Roman Empire, is the investiture contest. You need to write down that term. Okay, let me explain what it is, and then I'll tell you what to write down. Is that fair? The investiture contest is what we're talking about next. You need to know that Pope Gregory the 7th and Henry the 4th are going to fight. Don't write anything down, just listen. Okay, Pope Gregory the 7th is going to want to put his spies in King Henry IV's house. He wants them to be appointed to all of the cabinet positions in the king's household. The king, what do you think he feels about this? He's like, nah, man, I don't need no spies. And the Pope is like, no, you're going to do this. Okay? The Pope wants spies in his house to see if the king is doing what he's supposed to do. And this gives the Pope more power or less power? More power. Now, to this point, a Pope has never been challenged, and the most powerful person in the whole wide world is the Pope. So, the Pope's like, no, we're doing this. Henry IV says, no, bro, we're not. The Pope says, screw you, you're excommunicated. Now, when a king is excommunicated, all of his people are excommunicated. What does excommunicated mean? Garrett.
They're like not part of the church.
Okay, not just that you're not part of the church anymore, that your soul, no matter how good it is, Garrett, is going to be burning in the pits of fire and flame and brimstone for the rest of eternity, and there is no bother to try to save your soul. You are not allowed, if I'm excommunicated, you are not allowed to speak to me if you're a true Christian. You're not allowed to reference me. You're not allowed to look at me. You're completely banished.
Has anyone been recently?
So think about it back then. Do these people really believe that God chose the Pope? Do they believe that the Pope has complete power? Do they believe that if the Pope says you're excommunicated, Garrett, that you're really going straight to hell and nothing you can do about it? Yes. Today in 2018, if the Pope said, Sam Bennett, you're excommunicated, I'd be like, oh my God, the Pope knows my name. How cool. Do we believe as heavily as those people did about Christianity, whatever your religion is? No. Back then, is that a big deal? It's the biggest weapon the Pope has is excommunication. So, what's going to happen? My boy Henry IV is going to be like, oh my God, I totally screwed up. So he takes his ship from England, sails to France, and walks, not rides, walks from the coast of France to Italy. He gets to the Pope's house in Italy, and they're like, the Pope's not here, man. He's in his summer palace. And he's like, God damn it. So he walks from his house to his summer palace up in the mountains. And once he gets to the base of the mountain, he climbs the mountain on all fours. So by the time, yeah, it is a real thing. I had studied this for like 2 weeks in college. I know. Anyway, he gets up there, tattered, shoeless, looks like a complete bum, okay? And he gets in front of the Pope, and the Pope hears that he's doing this. And he's just giggling and laughing, sitting there, and he's like, oh my God, look, a king. Look how embarrassing this is for the king. And the king is like, I'm so sorry. Please do not punish my people. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. And the Pope's like, oh, it's fine. You're no longer excommunicated. And like Henry IV gets up and like brushes himself off, and he's like, is this a game to you? And the Pope's like, what? And he's like, this, like, that's it? That's it? And he was like, you know what? I'm out. So he walks out on the Pope again. So he gets excommunicated a second time. And then he goes back to his people, and he's like, the Pope is making a game out of this. We're good. And the people are like, okay, cool. And that is the investiture contest. Why do we care about it? It is the first time a Pope's authority is challenged. You're going to want to write that down. It is the first time a Pope's authority has been challenged. And now, who is starting to rise in prestige? The kings are starting to rise in prestige, and they're going to become more powerful because of it. You need to know that it is Pope Gregory VII and Henry IV. What?
Is Henry IV like the Henry that like is that like you know the guy who like killed all his wives or whatever?
No, that's Henry VIII.
Yeah, I know, but are they like related?
Yeah. Yeah, Prince Henry, Prince Harry, and Prince William are all related to him.
Wait, I thought that. Oh, it is here. Just kidding.
No. Okay, so you're gonna see all of that. Now, I don't care about Frederick Barbarossa.
We had to know that kings did what? You said we had to know
That kings are gonna rise in power because of it. The prestige of a king is going to rise. So it's the first time the Pope's been challenged. Okay, that's a huge deal because now after that, well, after the first time a Pope's been challenged, is the Pope's going to be challenged now forever?
Yes.
Oh, for sure. Okay. Second thing you need to know is that kings are now going to rise in power as well. Now they can start challenging the Pope, which means they don't get told what to do by a Pope. They can start making decisions for themselves, so it's a big deal. France is your next title here, people. What?
Who is the king called?
Henry IV. What?
What was the number for Pope Gregory?
7. Okay. Now, in France, we're going to have the Capetians come into power. They are going to stay in power until the French Revolution when they all get executed. Is that a big deal? They're going to be in power for like 700 years, people. The only people that are in power longer are going to be the Normans, William the Conqueror's family.
Until when?
Just know that the French Revolution. Just be aware in your head. Does that make sense? So the Capetians are going to be ruling France. So Louis XIV, Louis XVI, they're all part of what family? Capetians. So keep that in mind as we talk about France. They're all from the same family until we get to Napoleon. And Napoleon is not royal. Okay. So England is your next title. England is going to be conquered by William the Conqueror in 1066. And write down that date. Do you have to memorize it like you do need to know Rome? No. However, I'd be aware of it. William the Conqueror is going to conquer England in 1066. Every member of the royal family is a direct descendant of William the Conqueror. They're ruling England to this day. Do they have as much power as they used to? Hell no. However, they are all descendants of William the Conqueror.
That they can say like, hey, you know what I mean?
They all
Yes.
know exactly what
I
it
guess. I mean, I guess. What?
is. Don't they have like some kind of like blood disease because of like?
Oh yeah, the
inbreeding?
inbreed. Do you think you get faces like that without inbreeding?
That's kind of.
What? Kind of true. Italy! Well, yeah, they want to keep their blood pure. And and every monarchy is all related back to William the Conqueror because all the royals marry into each other. So every house that's still royal today has some William the Conqueror's blood. Because Queen Elizabeth, no. What's the other queen? Queen Elizabeth, and we have Queen Victoria. Victoria married out all of her 13 girls to all of them. She had like 16 kids. She loved her Albert, man. Come on. Her husband was Albert. They were true love. She wore black every day for 40 years because after his death.
That's so sad.
She was still queen and still lived a pretty damn good life. By the way, Queen Victoria is the one who overtook India and robbed India of its most precious jewel so she could wear it on a brooch.
She had like an Indian.
Oh yeah, you saw it? It was good. It was good. All right, Italy is your next section. Okay, Italy is going to become the most powerful country in Europe. Okay, so you need to know that Italy becomes the most powerful country in Europe. It also becomes the most wealthy country in Europe. Why is Italy going to be the most wealthiest country, Vance?
Because all the crusades went through them.
All the crusades are going through, and what comes back on those empty crusader ships?
Riches.
Riches, all of their silks and stuff, and who are they going to sell it to in incredibly high prices?
Europeans.
Europeans, yeah, the Europeans are going to pay for it in incredibly high prices. All right, let's do some boards here. We haven't done that many boards at all. Here we go, on your whiteboard. Please tell me, what is the name of the ruling family of France until they all lose their heads? Like 600 years, 700 years later. Ben, Capetians, on your whiteboard. Please tell me, all of your British royal family are descendants of who? No, you are not bros. You did not get to write that. Galen, William the Conqueror. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the event where the Pope is challenged for the first time? Good. Sadie. Investiture contest. On your whiteboard, who is the Pope involved in the investiture contest? No. You're messing up your Roman numerals, and if you don't get them right, Garrett, the whole answer is wrong on your essays. What is it? Alex. Pope Gregory VII. Guys, honestly, on your AP exam, if you write the wrong numerals, it's wrong. And if you write 7th, they're going to judge the hell out of you.
Can
It's still right though.
I don't think so. I'm not sure if they'll score it or not. But you're better than that because every historian will judge you for not knowing it. It's pretty simple when you figure it out, don't you think?
Yeah, it's just annoying.
Or more.
Oh my God, people, what?
I didn't write down the kings that you said grew in power. I have.
Oh, no. Kings in general are growing in power. So after this, every king's better. What is the name of the king involved in the investiture contest?
How did you have that already?
Well, it's a pretty easy, predictable question.
Yeah.
Kate. Henry IV. On your whiteboard. Oh, what is the biggest tool the Catholic Church has to force people to do as it wants? By the way, the Catholic Church still does this, by the way. Every once in a while you hear the Catholic Church does what, Logan? Excommunicate.
What would you like have to do to like get
Here in 2018? Oh.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, sadly and grotesquely, a priest or a cardinal finally gets caught and actually in trouble for sexually molesting and abusing people, they'll get excommunicated. But how often do you think that happens? Not often enough, even though it's rampant. Sorry, I'll get off myself. Because they're shady as hell. And it's disgusting to take advantage.
Yeah, they get like.
Do you want to know why Catholic priests aren't allowed to marry?
Why?
They're married to God.
Because they grow.
No.
Because
Because they're gross? No. Not all Catholic priests are pedophiles, ladies and gentlemen. Not all. The reason why the popes took away the ability for priests to marry is because the priests were having kids and leaving lands that belonged to the church to the kids instead of, and to their wives instead of back to the church. So the church was losing money.
So they were like, haha,
You can't get married.
anymore. Wait, but what about
It all comes back to money, friend.
Nowadays,
nuns
if you
get
do that, that wouldn't happen.
No. They would. What?
So, like, they didn't have that problem in any other religion because my rabbi is married. So
Yeah.
I was, like, really confused.
Well, and all of your Protestant sects are. It's just Catholicism. They have way more money than you do. They have way more money than any other religion in the world. So they like keeping all that money. They have way more money. They have way more money. All right, here we go. On your whiteboard, what is the name of the dude who founded the Holy Roman Empire? Good. What is it? Bella. Otto the First. Goodbye. We're in a good spot for tomorrow. I even have some pictures for you.
I love pictures.
Yes. One day off, Claire, and you've already lost it, huh? You've lost that touch.